count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony. Find the defendant guilty. Signed, juror 4-person, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, come on, one more time. Come on, boy.
Signed by jury 4-person, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty.
Yeah!
Juror number 2. Juror number 19. Juror number 27. Juror number 44. I need your true and correct verdict.
Morning, Mark.
Well, that video, there's no words that I have to add to that video outside of just wanted to recognize a milestone week. So welcome to Bourbon Street, everybody. I'm MH3 in case you forgot, and he's Don.
And I'm Don. And just being a bit of a research nerd on the negative side of things, there is a person in the U.S. shot by a cop every 8 hours. Every day, there's more people shot by cops than killed in the UK by cops. Just for a perspective.
Yeah.
Anyway, over to brighter topics.
Let's go to Weekly Pulse. I know I was undefeated last week. I mentioned to you in the pre-show, I am wearing my lucky Gitch. They have been cleansed. So bring it on, buddy. Weekly
You were
Pulse.
5 for 5, and I've made it simpler this week.
Okay.
Because I think you need the help. We'll see what happens.
Oh, no.
Now, I presented, I think, 13 times at one of your conferences, or 13 years, and I presented this almost every year, and I truly believe you don't listen to anyone. So, percent of the world that engage sports, is it 83%, 72%, or 60%?
Wow. You're right. You made it easy for me. You made it harder. So let's be super clear about one thing. There's one piece of research all of our viewers should remember, that every year at the end of Sponsorship X, we do our post-speaker survey. Who finishes number 2? Who finishes number 1? So, number 1, thank you for your question. I'm going to go with 83%.
6 for 6 if you take last week. Let's go to the next one, Eric. Question 2, people 13 plus engage how many sports? 3, 6, or 19 on average. So are they fans of the NFL, or are they fans of multiple sports? Are they fan of every sport?
This one always screws people up, screws me up. So I'm going to go 19.
You are correct. No one is a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, or very few people. They are hockey fans and they are football fans. No one's a Man U fan. They are the fan of football. So a key learning there is you got to think of the human being, not just your sport fan within what you're looking at. You're 2 for 2. That's 7.
I want to be really clear about one thing, though. Okay, I do listen to you, so I would not have even known or believed that stat if I hadn't heard it from you so many different times. Okay, question 3.
Largest engagement globally. So this is we did with Sports Pro. We did the 50 most marketable properties through Sponsor Pulse. Ranked 18 countries, 4.2 billion people. What's the largest of these 3? It's not the largest in the world, but of these 3, what's the largest engagement globally? The NFL, Premier League Soccer out of England, or the NBA?
Premier League.
NBA is number 3, the NFL number 19.
What's number 1?
We'll get to that.
How do I spell Premier League?
So we'll get to that. It's something called FIFA. Is number 1. But the point is, if you're in the U.S., you would believe the NFL is the number 1 sport property. And
there's more NBA fans in the Philippines than NFL fans in the United States.
So if you look at it, they're number 3. NFL is still strong. Premier League at number 10. So when we start talking about the Super League, just put that in context. That one league is that big. Let's go to the next question, Eric. Largest engagement globally. So we see NBA number one. Is it Liverpool Football Club, the LA Lakers, or Wimbledon Tennis? Of these three, what's the largest?
Now I'm in trouble because I would have gone Liverpool, but I got the last one wrong, so I'll have to go Lakers to be consistent. Come on, you're killing me here. Now I'm 2 for 2, but I feel good about myself.
So everyone hears about Man U and Real Madrid and Barcelona and Liverpool's heard of, but I don't hear about that often in the Canadian marketplace. They're still number 11 globally. That's
right.
How big, that's just to put in perspective. The Laker is by far the biggest North American sport team. Let's go to the next one, Eric. You're 2 for 2. 2 of 2. Largest engagement globally. Is it Man U, the Premier League, or Real Madrid?
I'm going to go Real Madrid.
And you are correct, sir. Number 4 globally. We went over there and worked with them. They thought they had around 600 million people across the globe engaged. The real number is 1.8 billion.
1.8 billion.
So look at this too. Man U is a team within the Premier Soccer League. Yet their fandom engagement is bigger than the entire league. If you look at hockey in Canada, you get in the high 50s up to 70% engagement depending on what time of year. The league's about 48%. Hockey's NHL is about 65% or somewhere in that area, depending on when you ask it. The point is, it's not even close. In this case, the team is bigger than the league. And think about that for context for the Super League. They're bringing the biggest, number 4 and number 9 worldwide into this league. Let's go to the next question. You're 2 and 3. The Super League. It's not the next question. Go to the next one, Eric, please, if you would. Sorry. This is the rank globally, the top 50 most marketable properties. These are the teams that were going to join. The number one's FIFA, they weren't going to join. But number 4, 5, 9, 10, 16, 18, 20, 22, 26, 34, and 39. The only team, because there's 12 teams joining, not in the top 50, was Tottenham. But that's what they call the Super League. That's how big this is. That's how big news it was. That's why it was leading on everything on Twitter, leading on all the social channels, because this was massive, massive, massive news beyond North Americans' ability to understand how big this is. So this was the perspective. So you 2 of 5 was pretty good, Mark. Kudos.
All right, I was 3 of 5 for the record.
3 of 5.
I was 2 for 2, and then I got the 5th question right.
Okay, sorry, I can't count.
You are a researcher. Okay, anybody doing work with IMI, take 20% off all results this week.
Anyway, so that sets us up for the Super League. So let's keep going onwards. Oh, sorry. One last question we asked. What was the reaction? This is their words verbatim from yesterday. It's unfair to obtain a qualification without sporting merits. We don't get that in North America. The fact is, you can be relegated in the UK or in Europe. You can't be relegated if you're shit. You can tank. Buffalo Sabres are not going to be relegated to the HL. Just a way to give the rich more money. Rubbish, greedy bastards, thieves. It'll be interesting to see how soon people forget, but people have resigned. JP Morgan apologized. What's going to happen? But it shows what greed will do to people. What's more important? People are greed. It's greed.
It's unbelievable. Buffalo Sabres, 10 years running, no playoffs. Okay, let's jump into a quick video about the Super League week in review.
Goalless at Old Trafford, but no doubt that first half has been overshadowed by this breaking news this afternoon, which could have a seismic effect on European football.
This is not Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal. This is John Henry and FSG. This is the Glazers. This is Roman Abramovich, Sheikh Mansour, Stan Kroenke, Daniel Levy.
It will change football in this country forever. And we have to now mobilise, organise. It's difficult not to get emotional and feel sick.
UEFA and the footballing world stand united against the disgraceful, self-serving proposal we have seen in the last 24 hours. The players who will play in the closed league will be banned on playing the World Cup and Euro.
I can only say my personal opinion. I don't like it, and hopefully it doesn't happen.
We were not involved in any processes, not the players, not me. We didn't know about it.
6 greedy bastards! You know what you are!
Our Arsenal the latest club to be starting the process of leaving the group that are intending to set up that Super League.
Liverpool Football Club can confirm that our involvement in proposed plans to form a European Super League has been discontinued.
I want to apologize to all the fan supporters of Liverpool Football Club for the disruption I caused over the past 48 hours.
Perez says there was someone in the English group who didn't have much interest in the Super League, and they started infecting the rest. They all signed a binding agreement. He says you cannot get out of a contract like this. They are binding contracts. He says, I'm convinced that if this project doesn't work, another similar one will.
Well, I think they need to have a quick conversation with their fans. Don, I don't know if you were in this crowd of Chelsea fans, but let's take a look at this video. And I want to see if you're out there protesting. I mean, you made the comment about the fans a minute ago.
Well, you look at it, and I mean, I had to listen to it 3 times and ask Mike what they were saying. We say football, but I couldn't understand what they're saying, but they're having a good time. But I think when you see an American guy up there apologizing to the fans, it's like it's an interesting selection. But I think we think we're sports fans in Canada. We think we're sports fans in the U.S., but I mean, we think hockey is life in Canada. Well, football's another notch globally. And take hockey and put it on steroids, and that's what you have there. So the fans spoke, and they certainly caved pretty quick. And can you imagine the number of hours they spent and how quick it caved? So people do have a vote. People do have the ability to actually rally, and that's great to see, because when there's real anger and real emotion on what was going on there.
I saw a great post by a former Coke marketer comparing it to New Coke when people are angry. But some big brands in soccer also took to this pretty quickly. And I'd love to throw up this one from Heineken. So I break out laughing every time I read it. Don't drink and start a league. And the biggest own goal. I mean, to your point, not only the people spoke, but the brand spoke.
Well, we obviously do marketing. They're consulting that in a living. I mean, look how quick they respond. Look how quick the best brands respond with something simple. It did not take creative genius. It took some context and quick reaction to do something that's relevant and makes you laugh still. And very few ads make people laugh. And the fact is, it's a great one. I mean, that'll be Don't Drink and Start a League could be around for a long time.
An amazing backstory on that, actually. So their agency, Leo Pub, actually they had teams in Amsterdam, Italy. They briefed 8 creative teams to get working on this. They worked through the night. They had a bunch of concepts. One of them was to tweet at all of the team owners and ask if they're drinking too much. That one got kiboshed. As things unfolded and the rumors of different teams pulling out, the teams kept pivoting. Literally on Tuesday night at 1 a.m, they sent 8 concepts to Heineken. At 7 a.m, they had that one selected, and it was signed off by the CEO of Heineken. So when you talk about football being life and death, I got to tell you, with all respect to our friends at the NHL, I'm not sure that any hockey concepts are reaching the global CEO of a major sponsor at 7 a.m. It's amazing, amazing backstory.
It shows the power, and obviously it worked, and it was simple, and there's brilliance in simplicity.
A couple of years ago, Don, you and I were in Nashville for the first ever Sponsorship X at the NFL Draft. The NFL Draft's coming up next week. And, last year the draft was supposed to be in Vegas, where you and I were all supposed to be. They came up with this new hybrid. This year, or not hybrid, it went fully digital. This year they're going to be in Cleveland. But the teams have taken a different approach, some learning from last year. Let's take a look at what the LA Rams are doing for their draft war room.
Scene 1, take 2, common mark.
Okay, my bad. Okay. Mental error. I'm most excited about the 2021 draft. To be honest with you, the new draft room that we have.
Look at those ball skills. This guy's a magician.
I mean, heck, the view.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Hopefully, I'm just as excited about the 22 draft, Because wait till we see this spread and see this view. You can't help but draft well in an environment like this.
Not surprising, given the amount of money I saw them spend in Nashville. I mean, the NFL knows how to do it right. Obviously, the Bedlam in Nashville 2 years ago with probably 200,000 people in one of the worst rainstorms ever, without one person complaining. Like not one. Like I'm talking about, take a bucket of water over your head for 30 minutes, and not one person moved or was whining about the weather. That's how ravenous this draft is. It was a fantastic experience just to go and say, like, people care about a draft. Yeah, they care a lot about a draft, and a lot of people from a lot of places.
200 countries had media. Next week on Clubhouse, sponsor Bex will be hosting a draft-related Clubhouse. We've got folks from the NFL, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens. I said that without throwing up in my mouth. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. Also, in breaking news, it was just announced this morning on Bleacher Report that Commissioner Goodell will be hugging draft picks at this year's draft. That was breaking news this morning.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not making that up. It's not April 1st.
It's important. It's really important. That's of all the priorities in life. Hugging the draft recipients is probably a smart move during COVID.
Well, he's been vaccinated. You know, when you think about, in all seriousness, when the pandemic really hit home for me was the cancellation of the 2020 South by Southwest conference. Another, great conference, and I'm sure they couldn't have imagined losing a whole conference. And again, losing it this year. But they, in order to keep them going, even though this was originally a very organic thing built by the city of Austin, Penske Media, the owners of plenty of publications, including Rolling Stone, has bought a large share of South by to keep it going, which, I think in the creative and marketing worlds that you and I exist in, Don, it's vital for things like South by to come back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where that world goes. I think there's going to be some fear, but I really think that those types of events and conferences, they're not they're experiences. I mean, all you need to do is look at a room price, and you know that there's a demand for it is tremendous. I mean, it's got to come back. I mean, it was a leader, it was an essential. It's like CES. It's how do you get there? But even a more urban culture, or more definitely a unique culture of no one comes back saying they didn't have a great time, great experience, learn a lot, and be stimulated.
And I think what's vital is, we talk about these hybrid events and B2B, but you and I spend a lot of time, and I continue to have a lot of conversations with people. Obviously vaccines, the United States this week passed 200 million vaccines. No, we're not going to go on a vaccine rant. Both you and I being old, and we've now both had our first jabs. But that human connection, that opportunity to meet somebody in a hallway at an event, sit in a speaker, get inspired with an idea, you just can't replace that. And even Bourbon Street, I've got news for you. We're gonna go in person soon.
Are we?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
We're cooking up something special in the background.
And not to be the negative guy, which I've been known to be the odd time, but 200 million sounds like a lot. They're about 40% done because you need 2 shots.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing phenomenal.
Captain Negative, 200 million is a lot better than where we are. So let's move on.
Yes.
I want to go to the opposite end of the sporting spectrum. I'm always curious when I start to see, so you've got the FIFAs of the world, the Olympics of the world, the NHLs, the NBAs, where you start to see niche sports. And I want to get your opinion on this with celebrity boxing, right? So we got your buddy Jake Paul here, and Logan Paul, and Snoop Dogg involved. And what's happening now is you're getting these sport with a big following, and you're getting Jake Paul and Logan Paul fighting real people like Floyd Mayweather and now I forgot the name of the guy Paul knocked out last week. What are your thoughts on this? Where it's kind of made for TV.
It's 100% made for TV. Floyd Mayweather will obviously want the money. If it entertains people, good on them. It's just, it's no different than a TV show. It's not the best in the world. Boxing is way bigger than people think it is, too. Massive demand for it. Wrestling, massive. It's a massive property that most people scoff at. So it's niche, but it's a massive niche. And the fact is, it's got millions and millions of people, and they'll make money, and they'll become rich, and people will be entertained, and they should do more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Don, let's move over to last call. This week was Earth Day. Yesterday was Earth Day. A lot of interesting things going on. One thing that's really interesting to me is industry bodies like the World Federation of Advertisers getting involved, and they recently came up with a Planet Pledge. So let's have a quick look.
In May 1927, the 15 millionth Model T came out of the plant.
A large injection molding machine turns out all the parts needed
to meet the customer's demands for service. From the eye appeal and swift effectiveness of the smallest utensils
So Don, talk to me about companies and things like Climate Pledge.
Well, I mean, I can talk more on the consumer side of things than I can on the company side. Obviously, 10 brands. We probably need some car manufacturers there. However, it's a start. The reality is that just like we talked about the 19 different sports, people have hooks into 25 different issues.
Right.
And unless we unite the issues, not saying it's not a good idea, unless we unite the issues, because this is about sustainability, it's about the environment, it's about greenhouse gases, it's about water. What is it? It's about all of them. So unless we can put it together, it's going to be very difficult. So a quick thing is consumers, like brands, will fall off pretty quickly. 80% claim they're environmentally friendly. That's people, right? 50% do things once a year. 365 days, once a year. 10% do it weekly. So 80% claim and 10%, 1/8 do it weekly. And that's not enough. And the point is, it's a great initiative. We need more of it. But if we don't bring everything together, we have no chance. And I don't mean to be a defeatist here, but we can't have 157 different issues. It's one issue with one subcomponents.
It's a great point. And I think as well, look, I love what Carl's Jr. is doing. They're doing a cool program where they took one of their outlets and let Beyond Meat take it over. So everything on the menu is Beyond Meat. But it's got to be more than one day. And it's got to be more than like one retail location, right?
100%. It's got to be through.
Yeah. And, interesting, like Levi's is running communications out there, which I think are clever, where they're actually encouraging consumers to buy less. But they say that, but the fashion industry is actually responsible for 20% of water pollution in the entire world. So I think you've got to do more than just say buy less. You've got to get out there and change the way you manufacture, the way you source, the way you ship.
Well, fast fashion, which I didn't even know the term until I was educated by our team.
Okay.
I mean, 15% of the people understand it and do it and engage in it and it excites them. Fast fashion means I buy something and throw it away. I might recycle it, I might not, but the point is, it's about me. It's about my image, my brand. So again, I think the biggest thing is how do we get people together under one issue? Like we have one issue called COVID. We can all unite against it, and we're still fucking it up, but we're still doing the best we can. The fact here is the globe is as big an issue, but that's going to wipe out everyone. Is how do we actually work together cohesively? So again, one day is not enough, and greed. So I think it all goes back to the Super League. Greed will lead. Greed will lead with companies, unfortunately, and greed will lead with people if it's about making them feel good.
So here's my setup. Who's the Super League of CO2 emitters from a country standpoint?
So I sound, again, I've talked about a lot about this in a lot of different areas. If you don't get China on board and you don't get India on board and you don't get the US on board, it's 50% of the emissions. If we do not have those three countries on board, we're done. If we don't have China on board, which are not the most receptive to Western ideas, we still got 3/4, which we have a chance, but we need the group together. It's one shared mission. And you can say there, well, Canada discloses 2%, but look at France, 1%, double our population, half the emissions. One thing they are is they're all nuclear. They ride a lot more, shorter distances.
Listen, I have personal bias for nuclear power, but I'm all for nuclear, and I'm sure my in-laws at CERN Labs are as well. But let's turn to one of the world's smartest men who can actually take two very important issues that we've discussed today and tie them together. Let's hear from your pal, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, how are you, my friend? Emmanuel Acho here, former NFL linebacker turned sports analyst and television host, but current author. Yes, author. You know, I feel like the wisdom is invaluable, and I have questions. What I realized is this: climate change and talking about race are actually very similar because so many people deny the existence of it. So my question for you, to those that are willfully ignorant about climate change and the existence of climate change, like so many people who are willfully ignorant about racism and the existence of racism, what do you say to people who just don't think climate change is real?
Emmanuel, it's great to meet you, and you know, I'll get rid of my football too, so that's not distracting me there. Your question is excellent. Like a lot of things, climate injustice is partly because you know, it's out of sight. Out of sight often means out of mind. If you could really see the suffering, people whose crops fail so they can't feed their kids, if that was in your neighborhood, just like a lot of the social injustices within a few blocks of your house, then I think we would take action, because I do think people care. I think young people going through school are seeing not only the science, but also the effects. The wildfires are kind of undeniable. The sea level rise is undeniable. I think if they take the time to look at the data, whether it's on racial inequities or climate, they'll go, wow, this is clear as can be.
I thought it was a great segue, is the fact out of sight, out of mind. We looked at Black Lives Matter, I think June 9th, 50% top issue, down to 15%. Climate change, same thing, is how do we get it together? And putting Bill Gates with Emmanuel Acho, I believe the gentleman's name is. I actually bought the book, had no idea who he was. The reality is it makes so much sense. And that's what companies need to do. You put the 10 companies on about the WFA is how do you get the companies to actually do something like that, bring them together with a common mission? So, I mean, Bill Gates, whatever you think of him, he's not a dumb man, and he's actually trying to do some fantastic things with solving world problems, not individual problems, which is a pretty admirable place to be.
Well done. Great show this week. And there's one issue that everybody can agree on is the importance of moms. So I'd invite all of Bourbon Street viewers to stick around for 2 minutes, because Sick Kids has a story about moms that knocks out of the park. Grab your box of tissues and stay with us for another 120 seconds. Don, I'll see you next week.
Have a good week. End.
Good morning. It is 5:30 and it's time to get up. Ava? Sebastian? Time to get up, guys. I haven't pre-made breakfast yet, so I'm gonna make breakfast, make the kids' lunches, try and get the laundry done. But today we are going for Sebastian's chemo treatment. We're going to cut Sebastian's hair. He told us it's very likely that his hair is gonna start falling out soon.
Be strong, okay?
You okay, sweetheart? And we're here. He's now been admitted. I hate seeing him like this. Discharge day.
Come on, buddy.
All of Sebastian's medical supplies came in. This one's for pain, vomiting, nausea. I'm a bit overwhelmed. He's still not eating. All right, it's okay. He wasn't able to keep anything down today, so I think that's why he's feeling so weak and tired. So, we had a bit of a setback. Everything is fine. We just had to go in for precautions. It feels like this has been going on forever. Day 83, 212. 337. Oh, okay, well, it's all right.
We're so brave.
Mommy misses you. Something's wrong. Ryan! What's wrong?
I'm coming.
Ava, come. Get up, wake up. Wake up. Wake up, we're arrested. Today was, it was a great day. He was able to play outside and play with his sister. And it's been a while since I've seen him like that, so it was a great day.